A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a bold move against what they term an unlawful federalization of the Metropolitan Police Department, MPD, Democratic lawmakers have introduced a joint resolution aimed at reversing President Trump's recent executive order. This resolution, brought forth by Representative Jamie Raskin, Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton, and Representative Robert Garcia, invokes the District of Columbia Home Rule Act of 1973, which grants D.C. residents the authority to govern their local affairs. The lawmakers assert that Trump has failed to demonstrate any special emergency conditions that would justify such federal control over the police force. Raskin, the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, expressed his concerns, stating, "The only emergency here is a lawless president experiencing a growing public relations emergency because of his close friendship with Jeffrey Epstein and his stubborn refusal to release the Epstein file, despite his promise to do so." This statement highlights the perceived political motivations behind Trump's actions. The Home Rule Act of 1973 allows the president to take temporary control of the D.C. Police Department only under specific emergency conditions. However, lawmakers argue that the special conditions have not been met and that Congress has the authority to terminate such emergency control through a joint resolution. They further contend that Trump's rationale for federalizing the local police force is built on a misleading narrative regarding crime rates in the nation's capital. In fact, crime in D.C. has been on a decline for 2 consecutive years, reaching its lowest point in 3 decades. Representative Norton emphasized, D.C. residents are Americans, worthy of the same autonomy granted to residents of the states. No emergency exists in D.C. that the president did not create himself, and he is not using the D.C. police for federal purposes, as required by law. The resolution sponsors argue that Trump's actions have detrimental effects on public safety, particularly by blocking D.C.'s access to $1 billion in locally generated funds intended for police, fire, emergency services, and other safety programs. They also point to the president's removal or reassignment of many of D.C.'s prosecutors, which has resulted in a backlog of criminal cases and delayed justice for victims. Moreover, Trump's controversial decisions include granting clemency to nearly 1,600 individuals involved in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, including many who assaulted law enforcement officers. These actions have raised alarms among lawmakers who argue that they undermine the integrity of local law enforcement and the safety of D.C. residents. In a related incident, the city has seen an increase in federal military personnel and agents, ostensibly due to a surge in violent crime. However, recent traffic safety checkpoints conducted by the MPD have raised questions about the true motivations behind this federal presence. On Wednesday night, a checkpoint was established at a busy intersection in D.C., staffed not only by MPD officers, but also by agents from Homeland Security investigations and enforcement and removal operations, the latter being part of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. While police spokespersons claim that traffic safety checkpoints have been a routine practice since 2023, they failed to mention that this particular checkpoint resulted in ICE arresting an individual who had overstayed a tourist visa. This raises legal concerns regarding the nature and legality of these checkpoints, as police typically require specific reasons to stop vehicles unless they are conducting a checkpoint. The situation presents a complex legal landscape, with many questioning the motives behind the federalization of the MPD and the implications for civil liberties in the District of Columbia. As the joint resolution moves forward, it remains to be seen how Congress will respond to this unprecedented challenge to local governance and the rights of D.C. residents. Lawmakers are poised to defend the autonomy of the district and ensure that its residents are not subjected to unwarranted federal oversight. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.